Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your weekly quarantine check-in with the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. Joining me live this week is Grejio and Lucas to discuss the week that was. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some more PS5 in the news, but not for what we wanted. Ghost Recon, Facebook has put on its game face, Fallout 76 wasted, Riot's big money play, Cyberpunk news, Doom soundtrack, and much, much more. From at least 1.5 meters away, editing Lucas, let's go!
This is the Aussie Gamers Experience video game podcast. This show is recorded during temperatures in summer that are too hot for dragons and in winter colder than my mother-in-law's heart. So join us as we discuss video games as best we can, all while dodging redback spiders, brown snakes, and all those other things that try to hurt, maim, or even kill us. But remember, all we need to do is stay alive long enough to see the release of that next awesome video game. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 296 this week. Today is Monday, the 20th of April, 2020. Grejio, welcome back. How are you, mate?
Thank you. Much better, I have to say.
Much better. Good to hear.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks with virus changing up my schedule and, getting home from work right about the time I would normally be sitting here setting up with you guys to that bit of a tragedy I had 2 weeks ago with my mate passing away, and it's just April's pretty shit, actually. let's just write April off. It's almost done.
It's almost there.
I'm happy to leave it in my wake this year. So, but yeah, I'm much happier for being here. I've really missed being on the potty, and I've been really pumped each week to get there. It's just something that's been stopped me one way or the other. So, yeah.
All good, mate.
But I'm here.
Beautiful. All right, and Lucas, welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. I haven't really got too much to report back. I've just been doing my usual, going to work, coming home, playing video games. As I've said a few times now, it's pretty much business as usual for me. Not a lot has changed. I don't go out very much anyway, so this whole lockdown stuff sort of suits me to a T. It is a little weird when you go to the shops and, there's lineups and stuff like that, and, you can't buy more than 2 cups of noodles at the same time, which is inconvenient. But look, no, I'm doing quite well. Enjoying the games that I've been playing, starting to chip away at some of my pile of shame. Yeah, I'm good, man. How about you, Snoogs? How about you?
Me? I've actually got a question about the shopping.
Okay.
So we're all New South Wales based, all pretty much Western Sydney. And do you guys have the taxi cab things up around your shopping centres now?
Oh, not that what do you mean, like a sign?
No. Like you go up to pay for something, and they've got this big plastic shield around, so you can't actually.
Yeah. They're on everything now, man.
Well, you made that clear what you were talking about, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
they do a
taxi cab thing.
Well, yeah. Now that I know you're
the
talking
knifing
about
shield.
the plastic shield. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, they've got them everywhere now too. Yeah. People come.
I actually said that
sneeze.
to someone. I said that to someone a couple of days ago. I just went, "Oh, so you're training for your new job as a cab driver?" And she just looked at me and went, "Huh?
You being racist?"
You should have then thrown a punch at the glass and scared the hell out of her. Yes, that's what I was talking about.
That's what it's for. Yeah.
Well, they don't look that sturdy. They look very makeshift.
very, very quick to put it on. No, but boys, I'm going pretty well. Not a lot's changed for me. I'm still working, but working from home and slowly going insane. So it's yeah.
Oh, well, you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I will get to insanity. Had a day today that nearly tipped me over, but it was just, it's good. we're doing this. This is what I love every week, so it's always fun. All right, well, let's get into it, shall we? This week in gaming, we're going back to 2015 to a game that kind of went away from its predecessors and ushered in a new version of itself, I suppose, in Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Published by Ubisoft and developed by Climax Studios. Mm-hmm. So, did you boys ever, either of you get into it?
Well, I didn't like it, but I played it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was two that came out. There was a China one, and there was another one. There was the same format. Or there was three then.
Yeah,
I know. I played one of them. I can't remember. No, it wasn't Russia. It might have been the Indian one I played, but
yep.
Or it might have been the China one. I don't remember. But yeah. I didn't mind it. It was different. Obviously, they were trying something different.
Yeah, well, for those that don't know, it went to a 2D side-scrolling platformer, pretty much. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, 2.5D platformer.
2.5.
I mean, it was a good idea. I just didn't really get into it. I didn't like how they implemented the gameplay from the normal Assassin's Creed games. They brought too much of it into a 2D game, which I didn't feel worked properly. I didn't like it.
Neither did I. I've played them. I've played bits of all three of them. I just don't. I don't know what it is. The Assassin's game, the actual stories that are at the core of Assassin's Creed. I absolutely love the story and the mythology behind it, but I can't get into the gameplay themselves. And these ones were no different, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so between us, we should have like the world's biggest fan and the world's biggest hater of that game. Oh, because I'm the complete opposite.
You hated them?
I love the game. I just couldn't give two shits. The story gets in the way of me playing the game.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, the story is what's essentially letting me down in the latest ones. I don't really like how they've moved and gone beyond the actual Assassin's Creed, which is essentially what the game is called. I've made the point a million times, so I won't go over it too much, but it's lost me as a fan. Until they go back, I'm out.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's jump into the main part, shall we? Actually, no, before we do that, we should probably say hello to a few people, shouldn't we?
If we must.
Yeah. Radicus and the Wraith, welcome, and thank you for joining live. For everyone who's not here yet, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. That's right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Darren.
All right, so let's jump into what we've been playing. Call of Duty. We've been playing more of that. I've been playing lots of it. Yep. I had a few rounds over the weekend. Grejio, we've had some rounds of some Battle Royale.
Yep.
We were playing that with 10, weren't we? 18.
18, yep.
Yeah. So I played that a few nights ago, which was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Lucas, yourself, and I played last night as well.
Yeah, I've had a very love-hate relationship with that game lately. It's got to the point where I've had to be quite strict with myself that when I feel the rage coming on, that's it. Not playing. Turn it off. Turn it off. Otherwise, the blood pressure's going to go through the roof, and I don't want to go and sit in the hospital with all the sick people. We'll leave and take up a nurse and a doctor because I played a game and cracked the shits and my monitor. So I've been pacing myself with that game, but I did have a couple of rounds before the podcast tonight, actually. Because I
noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, I want to. Well, I booted it up because there's been an update to the NVIDIA graphics cards, which has kind of thrown my graphics settings out, which made the game run a bit shithouse. So I reset them all again and tried it out, and yeah, it's back to beautiful, running smoothly and nicely. But I had a couple of games and went quite well. But there was one moment in there, and they really need to fix the player collision. I don't think there should be any player collision between your teammates, because I was running and healing, trying to get away from a guy who was obviously chasing me, and I went to go through a doorway so I could finish my heal and then get ready to shoot. But there was a teammate just standing there looking at the sky, or not a sky because it was in a building, just looking at the roof, and I couldn't get past him because of player collision. So I got stuck, and the guy come up from behind me and killed me, and I swore a lot.
My wife had a full view to me playing Call of Duty the other night. We're sitting together in the lounge room, having a bit of a chat. I may have had a couple of drinks and playing, and a few rounds were quite poor. Some other rounds were quite good. Played some gunfight, and then was cheering, was talking to people, all the while my wife's sitting there going, they can't hear you. Yes, so? Well, why are you talking to them? Because they need to know that they're a dirty prick.
But you don't necessarily want to rage on someone because they could be 12.
I don't need them DDoSing me. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is I need to steer away from Warzone. I think that's my biggest feed of anger and frustration is any of the Warzone modes do my head in.
You know what? I must admit, I really enjoy Warzone, but it's gotten to a point where, you know, I know they're doing a lot to get on top of the people hacking and whatnot, but it's like 1 in 3 games you come across one.
Yeah, look, it's not even the hackers that do my head in. It's I'm dialed into a certain TTK. Exactly. In the multiplayer, I'm dialed in for that, and I can get kills because I can quickly get the shots on. But in Warzone, the time to kill, like, it takes forever to drop someone because they've got 3 bars of armor, then you've got their health to drop them down. And that takes a long time. And that's a long time to hold your shots on target. And if they've got a better weapon than you, even though you shot first and we started taking damage off them, if they've got like an LMG or a gun that pops out more power, they're going to drop you quicker, even though you were on target first, which is why I prefer just a normal multiplayer, because the time to kill is a lot quicker because there's none of this armor bullshit that if you get shots on first and keep a couple on, you're generally going to win the fight. But yeah, in Warzone, it's all completely different, and I'm dialed in for multiplayer, which means I'm not good enough to be amazing at both of them. It's probably one or the other, and yeah, I stick to multiplayer.
Well, I actually tried co-op the other night, so I needed to do some co-op things for a one of the missions that I had, and so I started playing a few co-op games of survival. Survival's just pretty much wave defense, but I had 3 randoms, and we played this one map of wave defense for 78 minutes.
Oh, you're talking in the Spec Ops?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was something because no one else was on at the time, so it was just me sitting there, just, you know, switch the brain off and do it. So it's wave defense. You're just shooting, you know, AI characters, and it gets quite hard. Not so much by the quality of, you know, the enemies, but more so the amount of them and how limited ammo you've got. So it gets to a point where it's quite difficult. But yeah, I think we went up to near on level 30 on that in 75 minutes, 78 minutes.
Oh, okay. You played it continuously. You didn't just keep restarting.
Continuously. Just the one match, just constantly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, but the stupid thing is, so I don't know if there's a limit on how many levels are in there, but playing it for that long, you get bugger all XP. Your weapon XP is very small as well because you're just picking up weapons, or you can buy them from a crate. And so it's kind of a waste in that aspect. And then you still get, if you all drop it, you know, and it's sort of game over, you still get mission failed. Yeah. It's like, that's just not fair.
Yeah, I think there probably is an end game. I don't know. I've done that. I'm pretty sure if it's the one you're talking about, there is an end game, and the helicopter comes in and you exfiltrate that way. And yeah, then that's how you get a mission successful. But I didn't like it. I thought it was just too overwhelming. It just was ridiculous.
Yeah, like I can't see myself going back and doing it unless there's a group of us that just want to go in and do stupid shit. But I just did it because I needed to for the missions. All right, mate. Luke, tell us a bit more about Breakpoint. You've been jumping back in this week.
Well, no, just last night I gave it a try again with Wraithy. We played Ghost Recon Breakpoint together, and I managed to reach my breaking point. So game has successfully achieved what its title sets out to do. I don't know if we were too tired or what, but there was one section in this mission we were doing where we had killed everybody because, I don't know if it was meant to be stealthed or whatever, but we basically just went in and shot everything that moved, and the whole compound, everyone was dead. And then I got to a point where I needed to get into, or it was saying that we need to find some codes, a password for a computer. And the mission objective suggested that one of the higher ranking officers there would have the password. I'm thinking, well, that's no good because they're dead now. And then I thought, I remember where I killed these officers. So I went and picked one up and carried him over to a locked door because they have biometrics or something. And it opened the door. So I just had to lift the body up and carry it across to the door, which I thought was pretty cool. That's a very Splinter Cell.
That's a different mechanic. Yeah,
it's a very Splinter Cell thing because I remember you had to do that in Splinter Cell if you carried... Was it Splinter Cell or was it Metal Gear Solid? I can't remember. But the enemy would deactivate the lasers or whatever that you had to walk through. So you had to carry an enemy. I think that was actually Metal Gear Solid. But anyway, I picked him up, carried him, opened up the door, and I was cheering. I'm like, yes, I worked it out. Turns out that room just had supplies that we were trying to get in for so long. It didn't actually have what we were after. So then we spent... I don't even know how long we spent looking around. I used my drone to scope out areas because it was quicker, and we just couldn't work it out. There was a circle on the map, like on the mini-map, sort of saying that it's within this circle where you need to look. But we couldn't find anything, and it was just doing my head in. I'm like, you know what? I'm at breaking point. That's it, done. And I found the answer to my issues in the two keys on the keyboard, Alt and F4.
That was the code.
Yeah, that was the code to my computer and my sanity. So
Yes.
yeah, I got rid of that. And A10 has joined us in the chat. Welcome, buddy. And yeah, you were actually hanging out with us while we were doing that. Well, we were waiting for it to update or something like that. But yeah, look, it kind of ruined any interest I've got in the game by just pissing me off with that mission. Not to mention how hard it was to work out how to activate the next mission. What I can say, just to review Breakpoint as quick as I can here, is to say that it's a convoluted mess of slow dialogue and that's not a word. Unrewarding. Is that a word?
Yeah, it's a word. Yeah,
it's a word. It just sounds stupid. Maybe I'm just the stupid one. Unrewarding gameplay. It just no. It's a mess. There's just too much crap going on. They're trying to sell you all the DLC that you don't own, so you get confused from what you do own and what you don't. It's a mess. So it's look, I don't even know if I'm going to pick it up ever again, but maybe one day.
Grejio, you're still playing the old favourite.
Well, it's become my new favourite.
The GTA 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're millions now?
Well, yeah. So I got my vehicle warehouse, and I played with that for a while, and then finally got enough money where I bought a bunker, and then I did that for a bit, and then I bought a special cargo thing, and then this week. So I find there's a bit of a cycle going where they give you deals and discounts and stuff like that every week on different stuff. Well, this week it was cars. So up until now, I've been diligently saving, trying to better my money making skills and earning power, being very frugal and investment savvy. Well, they gave me 70% off like the Benny's custom cars. So I have literally just blown all my money on cars. So, and then not only that, I've made more money blow on cars. So I've worked it out. In the last 2 days, I've made $1.3 million. And in my bank account, I have about 19,000.
Oh, God. Yep.
I've spent about $1.3 million on cars, but I also worked out that what I've saved about $2.5 million in what it would have cost me, like if I say bought everything next week when I don't have the discount bonus. So I've saved saved way more than I've actually spent. So yeah, that's been fun. I've actually been doing the part of the game that I really like, which is the whole reason that I've been grinding out, trying to get my earning power up, is so I can afford more cars and play with cars. Well, now I've just been...
Now you're there.
Yeah, it's been fun. So, but I got myself, before all this craziness, I got myself a buzzard helicopter, which helps me do my missions. I can fly around, blow people up, and that's good fun. Yeah. Been doing all sorts of... Oh, look, I really am enjoying it. It's almost like... Because, like I said when I first jumped, there's so much to do. It's almost like playing a whole new GTA game. Because, it's the same map, but it's a whole new because they're all new things that I haven't played before. So,
good stuff.
It's good fun.
Good stuff to keep you occupied. Luke, you jump back into a couple of your old favourites, Splinter Cell Conviction and Blacklist.
Yes. Now, once again, last night, Wraith and I were up way too late in the early hours of the morning. So I downloaded Splinter Cell Conviction, because we were talking about that on last week's show, and it sort of spurred me on to want to play it. But I went into the settings and activated the controller, because you can select in there that you want to use a control pad as opposed to keyboard and mouse, because I can't play games like that with keyboard and mouse. I'm no good at it. However, it wouldn't recognize my controller. I'm guessing it's because it's an Xbox One controller and not an Xbox 360 controller, and I don't have a connection to plug in a 360 controller or any wireless things to use it, so I couldn't do it. So I thought, you know what, I can't play this. So I got out of that and downloaded Blacklist. So then I tried Blacklist, and that works with a controller. And in the meantime, Wraith was downloading Blacklist as well. So we're going to try the multiplayer. Oh, we tried the co-op. We tried the co-op on Conviction as well, but I think the servers are broken or something like that. They turned off or whatever, so we couldn't do that. So I went across to Blacklist, and while Wraith was downloading Blacklist, I was playing, and I thought, you know what, just for a bit of a muck around, I activated some cheats in the game, and I was just having fun in it. Just like I put on ghost mode, which means you're invisible to the enemies, and put on one-hit kills and like infinite everything, and I was just running around on the hardest difficulty of the game, just shooting everyone and just pretending like I was just awesome at the game, even though I'm not.
Just a badass.
So if anybody is interested, this is my opinion. Some people may agree, but there's nothing will breathe life into a game that you enjoy but have pretty much like played everything you can into it. There's nothing that'll breathe new life into it than cheating and using trainers. And it's a free to use program. This is only for PC, and it's only for single player games. Can't use it for multiplayer stuff because that's bad. It's called WeMod. I've talked about it before. I think it used to have a different name because it's changed names across to WeMod now. So WEMOD. You can download WeMod, and basically you run that while you're playing your game on PC, and then you use little keyboard shortcuts to activate different cheats, whether it be like adding money, adding skill points, infinite ammo, no reload, invulnerability, all that sort of stuff. It has those sort of things. It doesn't have every single game, but it's got a good catalogue of games there. It's actually a pretty cool little ecosystem in itself, because if there's a game there that doesn't have cheats, but it's listed, you can do what's called request, and you can earn requests by using WeMod, or you can pay money and buy these requests. And if enough people request cheats for a game, then they'll make them and add it to the list, sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. But then going back to Splinter Cell Blacklist, finally Wraith got it downloaded and installed. We tried to do the co-op, and he still had the same issues with trying to connect on the servers, but so we couldn't get it to work. So I don't know if there was just an issue, because I could get into the co-op stuff and I could invite him, but every time he tried to go into the co-op stuff, he got an error. So I'm not 100% sure if it just doesn't work anymore, because I thought it was just a peer-to-peer connection. I didn't actually think it used servers for the co-op, or if it's just an issue with his installation, or if it was just a bug on his computer or something. But we didn't get to play it and that's a shame, because the co-op stuff on both Conviction and Blacklist is actually really fun to play with a friend. It's good stuff. But I got to run around and cheat and all that sort of stuff, so it was good fun.
Well, that's good. Kaz has put in the chat, UPnP was the issue when a friend and he played Blacklist.
UPnP was the issue when a friend and I played it. Was the issue? I'll have to hit you up another time if maybe you have a solution for it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, mate, well, do you want to keep going? Have you actually played Animal Crossing this week?
Yes.
Or have you just got it in there to say you still haven't touched it?
I have, actually, and I looked at my statistics for playing it, and it's actually quite ridiculous now. I've played it for a long time. I don't actually remember what it was, the number, but I have played it a lot. I completely understand the addictive nature of it. It's just really hard to get going. Like, it's a real slow start to Animal Crossing. So I can see why I was put off quite early. But I have played it, and quite a lot, and I'm achieving things. You know what? You might have seen a few tweets from Uncle Chunt this week and last, and you have a look at what he's achieved. He has played that game probably 50,000 times as long as I have, because I'm starting to see things that he has, but like the real basic version of it. Because it's kind of like if you unlock a bridge to build a bridge, you're starting off with like logs and rope. That's the kind of bridge you get. And he's got these awesome stone bridges and stone walls and paths and, you know, it looks like roads and all that sort of stuff. And I've got like weeds. So even though I have played it quite a lot this week, it's still nothing compared to what people have already achieved in it. It's actually pretty impressive. But I'm actually really enjoying it. And I kind of run out of things to do because the game works in real time. So if you build something, you can't use it. Like, I have to wait till tomorrow or the next day before they actually come back. So it's actually quite easy to run out of things to do in a session. So like, I played it today, and I was still in the mood to keep playing it, but I didn't really have anything to do. Like, I'm being overly dramatic with that. There are things that you can keep doing, but they're monotonous, boring, grindy shit. So you have to wait for things to respawn. Like, I've already picked all the fruit and sold it for money, so there's not going to be any fruit for 2 days now. So I mean, that's probably why it's good to maybe pick half of it and then the next day take the other half, so they're sort of offset. But it's one of those games that I can't recommend anyone start playing, but I enjoy it.
Well, as long as you're enjoying it.
It's a horrible beast. But yeah, no, I am enjoying it.
I still can't really recommend it. I've completely gone off it. I was very much looking forward to playing it and wanted to have a crack, but it's gotten to the point now where I'm starting to see the people that have really, really loved it early on. I'm starting to see cracks, and they're starting to complain about some things from later in the game.
Oh, but, and look, there's some things.
Still enjoyed it, but
there's some things that could be streamlined in it, but it's very Nintendo. Like, every time you catch either a fish or a bug or something, because you can sell all this stuff, every single time there's a little line that comes up. Like, it does a little animation. Yay, I caught a bass. And then there's like a line that'll come up and it'll say that exact same line, like a text. The game pauses and the text comes up. And it says that every single time that you catch something. And it just slows everything down. It's frustrating. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a fish. I've caught that same one 1,000 times. Just put it in your fucking pocket, you weirdo.
Let me sell it later.
Well, that's it. And I'm thinking, is this thing going to go off? Like, is it going to die in my pocket and rot? But I don't know if they do. So I just go and sell them for money. But yeah, look, that's the game. It's a Nintendo game, and it lives and breathes Nintendo. There's no questioning where that thing comes from.
Before I get into the other game that I've played this week, round us off, Luke, with Dope Wars. I think that was on your phone.
Yes, I don't remember exactly how it came up in conversation, but I also took a screenshot of the original Dope Wars and put it into the Discord. Do you remember that from like back on like Windows 3.1?
Nope.
No? Okay. It was basically a text-based little program that you could play where you started off with like, I don't know, $2,000, and you could go buy like some weed, and then you move around so you can like catch the train and go downtown or whatever and flog it off for a profit. And it was basically an economy simulator where instead of just buying and selling stocks, you're dealing drugs. And I used to play that as a kid, like when I was like 16, and that's essentially how I know what Special K is. It's not just a Kellogg's breakfast cereal. It is that also, and I believe that song is about ketamine, which is a drug. But so you could buy and sell drugs, and I was talking to Wraith last night about it, and he looked it up on his phone. He goes, "Oh, there's a mobile game." I'm like, "You're joking!" So I went on there, and in true not Snoogs fashion, I bought the paid version because there's a free version and a paid version.
Christ.
I paid for the no ads because I thought this game's going to be sick, and I played it in bed last night at about 4 a.m. and it's actually pretty cool. So it's like an updated version, but pretty much exactly how I remember it from the day. And Radicus is saying that it's a Redfern simulator. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all text-based, and it's actually pretty funny because you'll get on the train and go somewhere, and a little thing will pop up, and it's a little old lady, and she says, "You know what? I think such and such," and she'll name a drug, is going to be on short supply come tomorrow. So it's a little tip. Oh, okay, I'll buy as much of that as I can. And then sure as shit, when the day clicks over, the prices skyrocket, so then you can sell it for a massive profit. So, yeah, and then if you're running low on money, so you get a loan from the loan shark. I can't remember his name. I'm going to go into it now to see if I can bring up what his name is, because it's pretty funny. But yeah, you could go to the loan shark, which is Dishonest Harry.
And Ethel, who's watching the stock market on drugs.
Yeah, and you can borrow almost as much money as you like. However, you've got, I think, 10 days. It might change depending on how much you take. To pay it back, and if you don't pay it back, then they come and rough you up, and you've got a health bar, and you'll lose health. But then also, if you're using public transport to get around, it'll come up, and as I said, it's all text-based. It'll come up saying 4 police officers are chasing you, and you can choose to dump and run, so drop the drugs, or you can just run, or you can, you can buy weapons and fight back. And if you get caught and arrested, obviously it's game over. Or if you get shot and killed, it's game over. If you don't pay your loans back in time, they will eventually just kill you. And then it's game over. And then, yeah, you can... You know what it is? It's like a drug version of that virus game, Plague Inc. Kind of like that, how it works. It works over days, you know. And you've basically got to make it to the end of however many days you set. It's on the normal setting, it's 30 days. You need to make it to the end of 30 days just with the most amount of profit. And the money you have in your pocket at the end of the 30 days, that's your score. And that's it. Pretty good game. It's only like $1 something. It's like $1.50, I think, on iOS. Someone may have to confirm whether it's on Android, but I recommend it. I shouldn't, but I do.
Well, why not? It's one of those. It brings back some memories, and it's all about fun anyway.
Yeah.
All right. The last game that I've been playing this week is Fallout 76.
Oh.
Now, Fallout 76, last week we spoke about it on the show. It has had its Wastelanders update. Now, what the Wastelanders update has done has made a Fallout game, finally.
Turned Fallout into Fallout. Oh, my God.
Yeah, who would have thought? So originally one of the biggest things was that so many people were going out into this world and there was no one else populating it. There was very little in the way of structures. There was not a whole lot of direction. There was sort of a loosely based thing of what you could do, and there was plenty of exploring and whatnot. But now you've actually got a Fallout campaign. You've got a Fallout campaign with, your good and bad choices. You can finish it good, evil, or somewhere in the middle. And it actually feels like you're playing Fallout. Yeah. Unfortunately, it still feels like you're playing Fallout 3 because the graphics are very dated. It runs very poorly. I'm playing on the Xbox One S, so I know it's not hugely powered, but you'll be sitting there in a scene talking to a character, and the screen, the scenery behind it will pop in and out.
Well, the Fallout, all of the Fallout games look and feel like games that even the Xbox One potato should be able to play well.
Oh, yeah. It definitely should. But for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's because it's this big online world. It's not like it's massively populated. I think there was, because other players show up on the map when you go online. The most that I've seen was 12. So I don't know how big the rooms are or anything like that, but it's this big, massive map. So I reckon they could have more than 12 on it. But that's the most that I've seen. Generally, the games that I've played, there've only been one or two others on the map with me, and they've been off in weird and wonderful directions. Now, the story itself. So the original thing was you left the the bunker number 76, or Vault 76, I should say, and you go looking for your overseer, and you go and follow their little trail through the world. Now, all these people are starting to flood back into Appalachia because areas around it are too irradiated, and there's been this story about a massive treasure that's in the area. So it's pretty much a treasure hunt, I suppose, to start again. And yeah, you just sort of start going through the mission, follow to the waypoints, get there, and then you start your fetch missions. Okay, if you want some information, if you want help, you've got to do this for me. The same as all other Fallout sort of games, or same as most of those style of games, really. And it's really a shame that it's taken this long to actually get, the Fallout game that a lot of people have wanted.
Just touching on how many players in a server for Fallout 76, It's 24.
Oh, well, there you go. So nowhere near full.
No, but look, it's a shame that it took this long to release it to a point that it probably should have been at when it actually released. I think it probably would have done a lot better had that have been the case, but I think they've done their dash with a lot of fans. I'm curious and I'd like to give it a go, but not for $55.
No, it was a failure. There's no denying that. And look, I understand the reasoning behind there being no one there, because you're one of the first vaults in the area to open and come out into this world.
No.
But the fact that it took them 12 months or more to get to this point now, that's where maybe they should have held it off for another 10 and just had 2 months with no one in it, and then repopulate the world. Something like that. Like, it's just, there's been too much time when so many people have jumped in, got aggravated with it, angry with it, returned it, and are not playing it now and don't want to know about it.
The thing is, I think this update has only come because of backlash. I don't think it was originally intended to be like this.
That could very well be the point as well.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't intended this way. It was always designed to be that we all fleshed it out. But the problem was, the game had its problems, so people didn't play it, and then it slowly just waned. And to be fair, part of the joy of Fallout is those NPCs and those missions. There were quirky NPCs that had something to show you. And to be fair, the whole non-populated, everyone's walking out there the first time, that's bullshit. They could have thrown in some NPCs that they missed a perfect opportunity for storytelling. There could have been some of those Vault Dwellers that were NPCs that walked out and set up little things. And this now could have been the progression of their story. Instead of now them just having this little tent thing, they now have a shop, or they now have something. Like, it could have...
Even the chance of fleshing out the ghouls as characters.
Yeah, but they wanted us to make up the story. They wanted us to use our imaginations, I guess. I don't know if it's lazy developing or if that's literally just the vision they had. But unfortunately for them, nobody else shared that vision and any excitement for it whatsoever, and it just flunked massively. And they've come back 12 months later and basically tried to save their game by adding this free update. And look, while it probably does make it better than it was, it's too late.
It is way too late.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that's what's going to be the defining characteristics of it. It's way too late. It could very well be. I haven't finished the storyline yet because I've started playing it like a Fallout game where I go, oh yeah, I've got to go from point A to point B via C, D, X, Y, Z. It could very well be there and be a good Fallout experience underneath it, but it's too far down the track. There's been too much negativity around it, and the fact that there's so many people out there that are still trying to flog it off as a full price game. No, I can't agree with that.
Give it a couple of months, and this will be on the bargain basement bin too. Pay your $10 and then go play it then.
Yeah. Well, it's a free update if you've got it.
No,
if you've got the base game, it's a free update.
Yeah, right.
I watched your live stream the other night, Snoogs, when you were streaming Fallout 76 with the new update. You had the new update in it then, is that right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I was watching it, and the very first thing that I saw was obviously just the game, and my first thought was, that looks woeful. Just that engine,
old, doesn't it?
They're just using the exact same engine as they have for like Skyrim.
Yep.
And Skyrim came out when? What, 2010, 9, 11?
Yeah, something like that.
Around there, somewhere around there. And, you know, that was actually a pretty damn good engine back then. But
Back then it was, yeah.
when did this come out? Last year, 2019?
Yeah.
They seriously need to invest in a new engine. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. Shut up. She was about to talk. I said seriously. You idiot. So that's my biggest gripe with it, is that they're hanging on to old school technology. And, you know, while graphics don't necessarily make a good game, you're not really going to be able to put new, not necessarily graphics, but like mechanics into such an old, dated piece of shit by today's standard.
But the other thing is that, yeah, at the beginning of the engine's life, it still had issues with that engine, but we forgave it because it was new. And there were so many other things that it did that we didn't have before, and we're like, this is amazing. But we know better now. Like, it's not just the graphics that are the problem with that engine. There's a lot of problems now with that engine where a lot of things don't work properly. You know, stuff like glitching in and out, and, you know, stuff tearing and stretching, and it's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
But those things have always been there. We've just forgiven them up until now.
Well, I think a lot of that forgiveness came from the fact that, you know, it's not a problem, it's a feature sort of thing. Because most of it was funny. Like, when shit happened, it was funny. And we forgave them because they were still good games. That's right.
Yeah, because in the background, the Fallout game, like the Fallout games have always had, and Skyrim, you know, Skyrim's still getting remade over and over again. Yep. The game itself and the story that was told, it was always brilliant. And now you suddenly got this bad engine with these failing features and then no story.
Yep. That's
when it sort of highlighted everything.
Yeah, but look, all of those issues are starting to wear thin. You know, it's starting to disappear from being, you know, a quirky little funny thing that's wrong with the game to are you serious? You still haven't got this down pat? They need a new engine, and they need a better one that's good for current generations, that will be good to use for the next 10 years, and one that they can control a little bit better, because whatever quality control they're running is not doing a very good job, and it's starting to piss off the biggest, most hardcore fans.
Yes.
Ta-da.
There you go, Gretch, right there. A couple of other little things. Look, well, before I get on to other little things, and maybe it's a big thing because it's just ridiculous, but look, if you've got the game, I highly, highly suggest to update it, to reinstall it, to have a crack. Just see what it's like. You know, play a little bit of the story, see if it grabs you, see if you start getting those old Fallout feels. Just see what you can do. If they're expecting you to pay full price for it, yeah, like $50 odd on PC, I can't agree with that. Especially when brand new, you can get the full Tricentennial Edition for $30 brand new from a store on console. Even then, I'd sort of be looking at around the $20 mark, just at this stage, because we've had all this issue, and it's more about enticing people back in to have a crack. The one big thing that I wanted to bring up about it that I think is an absolute joke, and Wraith has pointed it out in the chat, the real money shot. So there's microtransactions in everything these days. That's fine. But, and you know what? There is a point when I'll even agree with it. But the cost of something has to be realistic and relevant. The cost of things in the store for Fallout 76 is ridiculously overpriced. And it's stupid. Like it's things for a different wood type to build into your camp. Or, you know, oh yeah, here you go, pay $7 for a blue door.
Oh wow.
It's and I think it might have even been $15. Like it is stupidly overpriced. I don't care if you've got, you know, cosmetic items in there to stand out. If you're someone that wants to put 400, 500, 600 hours into Fallout 76 and you want to build your immaculate camp and it to stand out, then by all means go and do it. Because other people in your world will see it. You know, like you can walk up and walk around other people's camps and have a look. So if you want to do that and spend the money, that's up to you. But have it at a cost that is relevant for what it is.
Well, look, when it comes to microtransactions, I'm the sort of person who sometimes I would really like to buy things, but I'm also not an idiot. So say another example is Call of Duty. Now, I play a lot of Call of Duty lately. I'm really into the current Modern Warfare game. And when I play a game a lot and I have a lot of confidence in the game and I love it, I want to keep supporting it so it keeps going well. But I can't support a game like Call of Duty when the things that I like, they're asking $25 and $30, which is getting close to half of the price of the game, so I can have a gun and a little charm to hang off it. It's ridiculously priced, but I would pay for that. I would pay $5 for that. And it's not because I'm a tight ass, it's because it's not a real thing. It's not even a game. It's a skin. They are like, I don't know how many hours they put into making that or whatever. But I firmly believe in the model of charge less, sell more. And I think that's essentially why the iPhone store went so crazy when it first launched, because there were games in there that were, because this is back when it was competing with Nokia. There were games on the Nokia which were $10, $15. Everything was 99 cents. Well, in Australia it was $1.20 or $1.19 because of the conversion rates. But $1.19 for a game that played so good on an iPhone versus the Nokia that was selling them for $10 and $15. You make your content cheap. $5 for like an armor outfit. More people will buy it. You could charge $30 for it and one person buys it, and you charge $5 for it and 50 people buy it. You're going to be making more profit on the lower priced item. It's just, I don't understand it because no one's doing it. I don't know. I guess they know what they're doing because they probably have enough people buy it to make it worthy. But for people like us that have sense in where we're going to put our dollars, we're not gonna fucking buy that shit. It's ridiculous. But I don't know. We aren't making the games. They're the ones making the money, I guess. Yeah,
I want tracer packs. There, I said it.
Oh, so do I.
I want tracer packs in Call of Duty, but I will not pay $29.95 for them.
No, exactly. I would buy those because they're cool. And you stand out. You're like, oh, that guy with the green bullets got me again. It's cool. Yeah. But yeah, not for $30. Get stuffed.
No. Jog on. Oh, well, screw it. Enough of that. Any other games pop in your heads while we're going, boys?
I do.
Nah. Oh,
Greg has got one. Go for it.
I do. I just remember this, and I was going to bring this. I haven't played it this week, but I was going to bring it up a couple of weeks ago when I was going to jump on. It's a bit of a feel-good story, a bit of a COVID story, but I played Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh.
You're like...
Yes.
Yeah, and Greg plays the car game. Nothing new there.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo!
It was who I played it with, which was the unique part. So, right as the whole social distancing and no traveling outside of essential travel sort of came into effect, I was due to go on a car cruise with my car club. Obviously, that fell over. And it was then suggested that, hey, maybe we should jump on Gran Turismo and
nice.
race with each other. And I actually didn't think that it would take off because I was like, yeah, I know the car guys, but like I don't know too many of them as gamers. Well, shoot me down if I was wrong. That was probably, like I said, that was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And I think over the last 3 or 4 weeks, there has not been a single night where I haven't had... They set up their own individual chat for it, and there's not a single night that I don't think there's at least been a couple of my car club buddies playing Gran Turismo just about every night for the last 4 weeks. So I think it's kind of cool. It's just one of those cool sort of feel-good things that have come out of this situation because there's not a great deal of them. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool that, that a group of friends that I have share a passion with was able to transform it into another passion that we all have, and some of them even bought PlayStations just for the sake of being able to be involved.
Nice.
So that, like, there's people like going, oh, I'm looking online for like fours and blah blah blah, and yeah, so yeah, it's been really interesting and it's been really cool.
That's a good question from Kaz in the chat there. Did they buy the whole setup with like the steering wheel?
So my car club, there's a few people that have got some really flashy cars, and yeah, those guys I see what they spend on their cars. So yeah, PlayStation wheels and pedals, that was kind of a no-brainer for them. They just went, yeah, I got money. So bang, got it.
So, thank you. This is what I'm doing.
So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's been pretty cool.
All right, boys, let's jump into some news items for the week, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. One of the big releases from the last couple of days, the Cyberpunk Xbox has been officially shown off. So it's Xbox One X done up in a Cyberpunk kind of feel. Xbox started teasing it last week to be, the information to drop today, but then Amazon jumped in and went, no, we're going to show everyone first, and leaked it. And so
fuck you,
Xbox
Bezos.
just went, screw it. We'll tell everyone and show it what it's all about. So I haven't seen anything confirmed that it's coming to Australia yet.
Oh, probably will, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I'd say it would. I'd say it would. I was actually hoping to see something from Xbox today.
It'll be a bundle, surely.
Surely, but it's actually releasing in June.
It says on this picture right here, game release. Oh, that's for the game.
Yeah, that's the game release. The actual bundle is releasing, I think it's either June or July, and it's coming with a digital code version of the game.
Okay,
so
yeah, I can see how they could do that.
Put a code in for like a pre-order. That's what I'm assuming anyway. And yeah, I really like it.
Look, I've got a criticism of it. Now it's probably nitpicking.
Yes.
All right, but how come it's a completely different yellow on the console than it is on the actual box art?
So I think the box art is more to do with the game art, whereas the console is kind of more like the aesthetic. It looks like it's part of one of the buildings in the game. It's got a very sort of the architecture of the game kind of feel.
Well, whatever design they've got on the console there, that actually might be an item from the game that might share that colour. But first thing I noticed was that that's not the right yellow if they want to sort of imitate. Because if you look on the box, so if you look on the box art,
it's a neon yellow.
It looks like, but it sort of matches the actual background. And then the actual console on there, but the actual console that's sitting next to the box doesn't match the yellow that's on the box. That's a nitpick, I know, but that's the one thing I can think of. I don't know. Do you like it? Do you like the look of it?
I do.
I think it's interesting. It's very interesting. I like it. That's the answer to the question. It's very subtle in the way of being quite out there at the same time, which I like. It's quite clearly something different, but at the same time, it's not screaming at you, hey, look at me,
I just wish that these manufacturers of gaming consoles would think about these prior to releasing the generation and put something out nice and fancy for their new console so the early adopters, like me, gets to pick a special edition console like this, because I've never in my entire life have I ever had one of these special edition consoles, and that's because whenever they come out I already have the console and I refuse to trade it in and pay the extra just so I can have a pretty looking box. But I always miss out on it because I already have one. Shits me. Early adopter. Being an early adopter is the dumbest thing in the world, but I keep doing it.
I really like the controller, actually, that comes with it. It's hard to see in the picture on the Discord channel. I've seen a close-up picture of it. So it's for those that haven't seen it, it's two colors. So the left half is like a metallic sort of silver color, and then the other half is matte black. And then the silver side is kind of very... there's a close picture. It's got a corporate logo on it, and it's obviously designed to have that sort of corporate feel to it, but while still being a little bit worn, like the Cyberpunk is a bit of a pretty but worn sort of facade. And then on the black, it's got some scratchings in it, like someone's vandalized it, and it says "No Future."
Yeah, like Bart Simpson with the backwards N.
Yeah, with the yeah, and the buttons, they look really cool. Like I really like the control. I think it looks flash.
Actually, I've just noticed as well on
the
the left stick is white, but underneath it, it's red.
It's red, yeah. The color is really cool. But what a clever way, like with the console being out sooner than the game release. What a clever way to get your pre-orders in.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting way to get people to pre-order your game, is to bring out the special edition console with the game, because it will be bundled. You can get that sale in early without the whole, especially in today's climate where I think people are becoming a bit more wary about the whole pre-order thing. They've been, especially last year, there was a lot of fingers burnt from pre-ordering. This might be just that way of getting over that sort of idea. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, like my paid off pre-order that's sitting there, and I don't have a date for when it's going to get released to me now.
And not to mention, this is a pre-order that you cannot cancel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, no, I think that is in itself like, look, I'm always the one that says don't pre-order, because but I can't help but sort of be a little bit that's clever about the whole thing. So.
Well, keep an eye out for it, people, because as soon as the information's released that it will be available in Australia, there'll be a pre-order bundle somewhere, and it will sell out in 3 minutes. So we'll let you know how it's travelling. Luke.
Yeah?
In the last couple of days, there was a massive scream heard around the world. And this scream was from our graphics cards collectively crying out in fear as a remaster of Crysis was released.
That
the information for it was released.
Correct. Now, I was on top of this before it actually got announced, and that was because a tweet popped up, which I was privy to, from Crytek, who are the developers or whatever for Crysis. And they tweeted saying something about like transmission incoming or something like that. And then there was another tweet that had a little bit more sort of cryptic stuff towards everybody knew. Who were like, okay, yeah, that means Crysis, either a new Crysis is coming or a Crysis 1 remaster is coming. And, was just this week, late last week. No, when was it? I don't know. Yesterday, today, whatever it was. Over the weekend, whatever it was, we actually got confirmation that a Crysis 1 remaster is hitting consoles and PC this summer. Funniest thing is I thought that they actually listed the Nintendo Switch. Oh, dear. Do you remember, like, back in the old days where games would be released on, like, the main consoles and they'd also be, like, a Game Boy version?
Yes.
And it was called the same thing, but it was nowhere near the same game. It was like a platformer version of the 3D game that you got on your console. I reckon that's probably what they're going to do for the Switch. It's going to be a completely different thing. But yeah, so we got some big news. A lot of people are happy about that, including myself. I actually really enjoyed the Crysis series from Crysis 2 onwards. I never really played much Crysis 1 because my PC was a potato back then and would not have stood a chance in hell of running Crysis, because obviously
wasn't Crysis used as like a benchmark for
pretty much. It was
5 or 6 years.
The term, but can it play Crysis or can it run Crysis, was used basically in every conversation or argument about how good your PC was. Oh, I've got a Pentium this, or I've got a Intel whatever, and they're like, yeah, but can it play Crysis? Can it run Crysis?
Yes.
So
I do remember those conversations.
It was a big deal, and it's kind of, this game is kind of a bit of a phenomenon in the gaming world because it was so demanding of a system for a game that is quite old now. When was it originally released? I've got that written here. Would I be that professional? 2007 is when it came out. Yeah. But it was still one of the most amazing looking games in modern times. And it was obviously the community kept it going with mods and all that sort of stuff. But even the vanilla version of the game still looked pretty fantastic compared to what we get even this generation. You could play vanilla 2007 Crysis and be more impressed with the graphics than Fallout 76. And I'm not joking, and I'm not even just being an arsehole. That I believe to be actual fact. And it's an impressive game. I'm looking forward to it because I never finished it. I played Crisis 2 and 3 and really enjoyed them. I have tinkered a little bit with Crisis 1, and yes, my computer will run Crisis 1 and at a steady frame rate. It's not enough to kill my current PC. So it's going to be interesting. I've got a little bit of information here on it. It says the updated version of the beloved 2007 shooter is slated to be come to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch and PC. The new version of Crysis focuses on the original single-player campaign and will feature high-resolution textures, improved art assets, an HD pack, temporal anti-aliasing, new light settings, motion blur, new particle effects, and more. According to Crytek, the result will be a major visual upgrade. Crysis Remastered is set to release this summer, aka winter for us. So it's not too far away. It's coming out this year, and I reckon that I can't imagine that they would re-release this monster without making the ultimate settings like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
this would be a killer.
I think this is going to be a 2080 Ti melter as well. So good luck to it. I think most of us will be playing that either on consoles, and if you're on PC, probably on medium to low settings. And if you're on,
you should save it and play it just before you buy your new console, and make this the coup de grace of your old console.
Yeah,
just watch it melt into the floor.
Yeah, I just played on the Pro. I won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, I was just going to say we must put out a warning because I don't know if Crytek will actually do it. If you are playing this on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro, you may need to anchor your console down so it doesn't actually take off. And if you were playing this on your Nintendo Switch, make sure you've backed up everything that you have on there.
And wear some chainmail or some heat-proof gloves. Oven mitts.
Asbestos
gloves. Play with oven mitts.
That's it. But no, that's exciting news. I'm happy with that. That's really cool. And actually, the thing that twigged everyone's attention is that tweet the other day that said something about incoming transmission or something like that. It was their first tweet since like 2016, I think it was. Yeah, it's like their first tweet in 4 years. So something was happening, and this is what's happening.
Cool. I like it. All right, next bit of news. Doom. Been lots of Doom around. I still play it every now and again until I rage quit and throw the controller and go and sulk somewhere. But the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition. So there was one thing that was missing from that when it released, and that was the soundtrack. Anyone that's played Doom or even had a look at YouTube will have seen some of the information about the soundtrack and how it was done. The official soundtrack, is now ready to go. So if you've bought the collector's edition, it's now available as a high-quality lossless download.
What, like on your console?
No, I think you just put a code in and it gives you... I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know how they've done it. Yeah, but it's
I know that some games have done that before, like on the PlayStation 4, where it's like an app. You download the app for the soundtrack, and you can listen to the soundtrack on your console, and it's the dumbest thing ever. Who's going to turn their console on to listen to some music? But anyway, sometimes they do that.
Like it'd be all right coming through the surround sound, I guess, but I'll just play the game to do that. Yeah, I don't know how they would have done it. It is coming soon to iTunes and Spotify, but obviously the people that have got the collector's edition will get a hold of it first. So that's something to look forward to. Mate, next bit of news, Valorant. Is it Valorant?
I think that's how you say it.
Let's just go with that. So that's Riot's new shooter. It's helped ramp up, well, I should say it's going absolutely gangbusters at the moment. A lot of people are jumping into the beta, have been invited into the beta and are enjoying it. The beta for, like the open beta is starting soon. And Riot's HackerOne bug bounty program. So it's being sort of ramped up again for people to get in and try and hack the game. If you can find a hack or a vulnerability in Valorant for cheating, you can make yourself up to $100,000 US for every one hack that you find. That's not bad. all those people being told at school that they'll never amount to anything and now can make easy money just by hacking stuff.
I don't know how easy it is. I wouldn't have the slightest clue. Like, I don't cheat in online video games. I would like to say mainly because it's wrong, but it's also a big chunk because I don't know how to.
No, exactly. So pretty much their anti-cheat program, which is called Vanguard, it's designed around bug reporting on that. So they're using for, exploits, cheats, all that sort of jazz. If you can find it, it's up to $100,000, and there's a couple of different tiers where you can earn, 25, 35, 50, 75,000. Even if you find a base, exploit that doesn't really do much, but it's still an exploit, it's $250 sort of as a bit of a thank you for finding this and, giving us a breakdown of it so we can fix it. So it's I like that idea.
Well, it's obvious that these people that are coming up with all these hacks for online games are quite knowledgeable with how the video game works, and I would even think that they'd probably be good to be on their payroll.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there has been a few that's happened to.
Well, they seem like they're better at it than the people who made the game because they're finding the things that they didn't even think of. So, but, it's many minds, many hands make light work. So, obviously there's a team of, 30, 40, 50, 100 developers. There's millions of people playing some of these games. So you're going to have, people are going to find it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where programs like that, I think, are quite good in, weeding out and stop. Ultimately, you're going to stop what is happening now in Call of Duty, where there's just hacks everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. All right, Luke, Sony is limiting the PS5 sales, production...
Supply.
I think you probably supply, yeah.
Supply. All right. Well, this is a bit of news that I came across, which is it's just more concerns for what the hell is going over in Sony land. And this report that I've got here from Game Informer says that Bloomberg is reporting that Sony will limit the initial supply. What are you sitting on your microphone? What are you doing?
No, I just moved. I was trying to do it quietly, but it didn't work.
No.
The chair went,
Got fat shamed by your chair. Listen, fall apart like mine did. Anyway, allow me to start again. Bloomberg is reporting that Sony will limit the initial supply of this holiday's PlayStation 5 home console to 5 to 6 million units in the period ending in March 2021. In comparison, the PlayStation 4 sold 7.5 million units in the first 2 months. Now, the estimation for the price is between $499 and $549 US, so about $2,500 Australian. So now the pricing there is guesstimated due to its high-end components in the system, etc. Now, I don't know if the limit is because of Corona is slowing things down, or if it's a decision internal in-house at Sony there. But the biggest problem that I can see is that I think there's a little bit of a confidence issue in the community, the gaming community, on what's going on at Sony, because they are being so sheepish about sharing things, and the information that they have shared with us is quite strange, like that whole developers conference sort of thing with the specs. We haven't seen the console. They haven't really come and talked to us. They just released a picture of the controller and a bit of text telling us about the features of the controller. Whereas with the PlayStation 4, that controller announcement was on stage, and that was a show. They made a show of it. So it's a little bit worrying. Now, there are a lot of PlayStation 4 or just PlayStation fans in general out there. And I don't think that any of this stuff that I've just mentioned will shy those people away, because the PlayStation brand is so strong. So the fact that we have amazing exclusive games on the PlayStation, it's pretty much going to sell itself. But if there's a limited supply, this is going to hurt big time. Because if this thing sells out worldwide in the first month or two of release, and people are gagging for a new generation of console, then it may tip them over the edge if they were only just thinking about it to going across to the Xbox. Now, if the Xbox Series X has the same supply issues because it is Corona related, because these things are using very similar components and some of it's from the exact same place, if they're on short supply as well, then it probably won't hurt them too much. But this is a bit of an issue, bit of a big issue.
I have a theory behind it.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
I have a theory, and this is coming from a somewhat PlayStation fanboy. Sony have realised that they fucked up. Sony have realised that their console... There's so much shit out there in the world, I don't even know what to believe anymore. You know, people writing clickbait stories and just shit that's made up. But Sony realised that their console is underpowered. There's been some issues from the developers coming back in regards to, you know, normalising between the two systems, and Sony is going to release a Pro version midway through next year.
Well, I disagree with it. I don't actually think the PlayStation 5 is underpowered.
I don't either, but this is just... It's one of those things, you know.
Spec-wise, it's underpowered. Spec-wise. But I believe that the difference between the specs on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is negligible. And I think with good program, good development, there won't really be a difference. Not like it definitely is not Xbox One, PlayStation 4. It's. I think they fucked up by releasing those specs and not coming forward and giving us a proper lead down the path and showing, okay, yeah, look, this is the power we've got on our system, but it's going to perform like you would never believe. And if you have a look at the Xbox 360, that showed us that the lesser powerful system can still do just as good as the more powerful one, because the 360 wasn't as powerful as the PS3, but it still performed to a degree where it was indistinguishable. So the PlayStation 5 is not underpowered. I think if there's any rumours out there that I might slightly believe, and it might be an overheating problem, I have heard that rumour. That might be true. I don't know. They might have a cooling issue, and they are reworking. If that's the case, then yeah, they're going to be behind on production, because they probably have to change out what they've already started. But that's the problem with Sony. They don't talk. They don't tell us anything. We don't know. How can you be confident in a product that you don't even think the creators are confident with to tell us about? Because we've gone beyond the whole, you're holding back information for suspense. No, we're beyond that. The thing's coming out in 6 months. Like, it's time for you to either open up or just...
Yeah, I agree. I think...
We nearly got our release that I spoke about last week.
Did we?
Of what?
So... Okay, so we recorded the show on Monday, and I said, you know, that's going to be my prediction that the PlayStation 5 has been released and it looks amazing, blah, 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 blah. 2 days later, we got this information about them limiting the PS5. I read the original Bloomberg release on the Wednesday morning, and then Thursday morning, there were 4 different renders going around, and some places actually said that this was official.
Oh, yeah.
Sony releases of, you know, these 4 different renders were the new PlayStation 5, which looks like a MacBook, you know, with a disk drive slot in it, really, a closed MacBook. It's this tiny, thin little thing, which I think they're well off the mark. It's not going to look anything like that. But yeah, so that was the official release that was going around on Thursday. So we kind of got there. We got some more information at least.
Yeah, Sony, they're struggling in their silence, I think.
Yes.
Yep, totally.
Totally. There's been a new marketing person being put in charge, which I forget their name, but she comes from, you know, very highly regarded as very, very good and proficient in the field. So we can say wait and see, but we're kind of running out of time, aren't we?
Well, to be fair, we've been waiting and just not doing much seeing. And the problem is, I think Luke's right. We've reached the point where there's no longer a suspense. We now are starting to think you're actually hiding. You're hiding something.
Yeah,
that's what we're starting to. And as soon as we get to that point, now anything we do here, are you lying to us? You know, there's this level of you're actually. Like we've been saying this for weeks. You're going to start eroding your brand here, and that's what's happening because we're now reaching this point of distrust. And yeah, it's a shame. It really is.
Indeed. All right, boys. One last thing on the PS5. It's I'm sick of hearing the rumours. I'm really, really done with them. I read someone the other day, and complete and utter fanboy post on Twitter of all places. Who would have thunk it? And these two guys, Xbox, PS5, are ripping into each other because someone put up about Xbox having the higher teraflops, and they're taking the piss out of a previous quote that someone put up as gospel that PlayStation had 13 point something, whatever. And then it started on at each other. The Xbox Series X will only run at 12 teraflops occasionally. The PS5 will run at a constant 10 point. And it just... Like, where do these people get this information from?
My response is, oh, you've played it, have you? Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Anyway, screw it. Last bit of gaming news from myself. Facebook has released a dedicated, let's try that again, gaming app. Now, have you always heard about this? Well, you probably wouldn't have seen it yet because it's not on iOS yet.
I vaguely remember something about this. So I think I brought this up a few months back.
I think you might have.
Yep.
So it's officially, pretty much they came out yesterday, which was the 19th, and said, oh, by the way, on the 20th, it's being released. So it's been released on Android. I've downloaded it. I haven't had much of a play with it yet because, to be honest, it's been that long since I've logged into Facebook. I don't know what my login is. So I'll work that out later. But it's a bid to conquer the gaming and the live gaming sphere. So you can jump on it. It's got some games on there that you can play and you can go live with. And then you can also play other games. So this is designed for you to have these mobile games and then go live with just, playing these mobile games and how you want to do it. It's just a nice, easy way to do it. So you could be sitting there playing Candy Crush or whatever it is that people play now and be streaming it live.
Awesome.
Cool.
Plus you can watch streamers on it.
We're going to flood back to Facebook now.
Funnily enough, there is one little thing in here that says there won't be any ads. Instead, Facebook is currently relying on viewer stars, which is like your bits in relation to Twitch. So that's their money-making version of it. But when you go to the Google Play Store, it says app contains ads. So I don't know where it is. It's coming on iOS. When it'll be released, it doesn't say because it's pretty much just it'll be released as soon as Apple approves it. So it's already there. Apple's just got to approve it, and then it'll be released, and everyone can jump on and have a look.
Oh,
so keep it.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited for that.
We can get on there and stream some Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Smash some 12-year-olds on mum's phone.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll go down well. A lot of people will be going, oh, how you guys go good? Oh, talent. We've got big thumbs. That's what it is.
That's it.
All right, that's it for news, guys. There's a little bit going on, but not a whole lot. Some good news this week, which is good. So let's jump into some last words for the week, shall we?
Sure.
All right, last words. Kaz, Radicus, Wraith, and Atam was in there as well. Thank you for jumping in. Hope you've had fun listening along. Some other last words. We've actually got some other official last words this week that I don't have to ask for up front. Pricing around next gen.
I'm prepared.
We touched on pricing a little bit during our talk about the PlayStation. But what else you got there, Luke?
Well, I was just going to ask you guys what you think that what your predictions are for next gen, because I think I've got I know what I think it's going to be, and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
I think the entry into the next generation is going to be for the wealthy and the big gamers. This is what they're focusing on, because there's rumours out there that Lockhart, so the cheaper Xbox Series X or whatever, the cheaper Xbox for next gen, will be coming at a later date, but will only output 1080 or 1440p, but will be considerably cheaper. And so the Series X will be the starting point, but that's your beast, that's your powerful one. And I reckon we're probably going to be nudging pretty damn close to that 1G mark. And I don't think it's going to be much different for the PlayStation 5. I reckon we're going to be close to $1,000. It's going to be between $800 and $1,000. That's my predictions.
Rich?
Look, I'm not sure I can disagree with that as much as I'd like to. As much as I want to be the optimistic one and go, no, it'll be all sunflowers rainbows and it'll be either the same price. It's all. No, I agree. I think it's going to be.
How are they going to get those specs into something that's going to be $500 or $600? I don't see it. It's
quite simply they're not.
No.
Just they can't physically do it. The SSD alone is $200-$300 worth.
Well, yeah. Like, how are they going to? Like, can they take that big of a hit? I don't think so.
No.
I
I'm calling around. I'm thinking around 850 will be the number. Like 849. That's the number that I've got in my head.
And if you've got $850, are you there that day one?
Ooh, at the moment, from me, it's no.
See, and that's the interesting thing.
I can't say yes either, because even this generation, I wasn't day one. So yeah, I haven't been day one since the generation before.
Well, I'm not normal, so my answer is yes. If it's $1,000, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're both $1,000 and they launch on the same day, I'm gonna have to pick one. I don't really want to blow $2,000 in a day on consoles, but they probably won't release at the same time. They'll probably be a month apart, and I will most likely be day one for one of them. The second one, I'll probably wait until a big game comes out. So for me, well, it does depend on which one comes out first. If the PlayStation 5 comes out... Sorry?
I was going to say, you might get your special edition console at this rate.
No, not likely. Oh, well, no. But if, say for example, if the PlayStation 5 comes out first, I'll day one that, okay?
Yep.
But then if the Xbox Series X comes out a month later, I will probably wait until the Xbox Series X has a title that I really must play. And vice versa, I'll do the exact same thing. If the Xbox Series X comes out first, that'll be my day one. And then the PlayStation 5, I'll wait until it has one of those fantastic IPs release on the next gen. I don't think you need two first-gen consoles that have got no games to play on them yet because they've just launched. They'll come out with, probably FIFA and Madden and all that sort of, and maybe a racing game, Forza and GTA or something. Gran Turismo.
Halo.
But the other one, maybe Halo. Halo for me is not one of those games that will make me buy it.
Yeah.
That's not something that'll sink me into it. But $1,000 day one, whichever console's first, the answer is yes, I will have it. But scary pricing. Scary pricing.
It's scary pricing.
Well, you can come over and watch me play mine.
I will. I'll even
grab your mitts off it.
Yeah, just don't touch it. Look, you can help me unbox it. Just clean up the mess.
He doesn't want those controllers getting any dirty quicker than a week.
Yeah, no, you're not. No, if you go to the shop and buy one of the controllers for $100, you can play. But you're not touching my controller. Not on day one.
No, hey, you know what? For $100, you can have that.
No. It was like what we did when the Xbox One X came out. I picked it up and Greg and Rem came over and had a look at it and a play. But yeah, same with the VR as well. We did that on VR.
The VR when I got home at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, from the midnight launch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But look, they're exciting times ahead. And who knows, the Series X might come out in November and it'll give me 12 months to save up for the PlayStation 5 until that releases.
God knows when it's going to be.
That's right.
Yeah, look, I'm still up in the air. Look, I don't know. The thing is, Xbox doesn't have those first-party IPs that blow me away, whereas PlayStation does. And that's enough for me to go, okay, well, I'm going to buy a PlayStation because that's the games that I know I'm going to want to play. But I don't know what the PlayStation is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to fit. Like, and the big
it's
thing
a third
for
emoji.
me,
You're going to buy it. We all know this.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, and this is something that is legitimately in the back of my head. I sat in the lounge room with my wife, and she got to a point where she was watching. So I was playing on the main TV. She was watching a show on the tablet that we have, and she said, like, "Can you do something about the fan on the PlayStation because I can't hear my show that's 3 feet away from me?"
Give her some headphones.
Yeah, well, that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah, because you're not going to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just it is one of those things where that is a big concern for me. You know, that heating issue that everyone knows PlayStation's got, that is a big concern for me. So it's all going to come down to what they're doing to rectify it. You know, because at the end of the day, too, when the PlayStation gets hot, and you know it gets hot, especially playing, you know, the other night I played something like 6 hours of Call of Duty, which is a rarity for me. But by the end of the night, I turned it off because it was just dropping frames because it had gotten that hot playing for so long. So I don't know.
Yeah, we might see Snoogs on an Xbox yet.
You might. Who knows?
Who knows?
But they've got to give me something better than Sea of Thieves to play on 12 teraflops worth of power.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, my goodness.
All right. GTA 6. Why did I write it as GTA 5? GTA 6 rumour.
I don't know. All right. Well, considering we are going well over time, we'll keep this quite short. And the only reason why this isn't in news and it's in last words is because these are just rumours. We don't know how accurate this stuff is, so we will take it with a grain of salt. But there's been a shit ton of leaked stuff, which you'd think, you know, either somebody sat down and spent time just making up this rubbish, or it's reputable. So I've got a list here I'm just going to run through. The next GTA has been in development since 2012, but production didn't begin properly till 2015. Probably sounds about reasonable. They were more focused on Red Dead Redemption 2. The code name for the game is Project Americas, and it's set in both Vice City and a new fictional location based in Rio de Janeiro. Also, there is going to be one playable protagonist, unlike the 3 of the previous game. And it's set in the 1970s to the 1980s. You are playing as a male character as well. I think there were some rumours going around saying that it was going to be a female. This is suggesting that's not true. You play as an up-and-coming drug lord wannabe named Ricardo. Another key character called Casey is part of the narrative, and you start off as a grunt doing runs as a cocaine smuggler from Vice City to the new, large South American area before making connections with big-time drug lords and making your way up multiple cities. Weather is going to be a heavy focus, so there's going to be hurricanes, floods, etc. You can only have weapons on your person, so no arsenal in your back pocket. It's kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can only have what you can carry. And your personal vehicle will be like your horse saddle in Red Dead Redemption 2, so all your equipment will be stored in the trunk, not in your pocket in some imaginary backpack. There's also going to be heaps of subtitle reading because there's going to be a big chunk of the game set in South America where most people will be speaking Spanish, so you'll have to read subtitles. However,
I'm sorry, it's Rockstar. That's out. It's bullshit now. Reading? Get out of here.
Last bit of narrative info is it'll discuss topics such as HIV and the immigration crisis of the time. I don't know. It's going to be a next gen only, so not PS4 or Xbox One. So it'll be PS5 and Series X. Look, I mean, it almost seems like this stuff could be just assumed and made up. But I have heard from some sources...
That's very in-depth, though.
Yeah, but you could sit there and just be creative and just come up with shit.
Look.
But at the same time, apparently this information has come from sources that have been very accurate in the past. Which, look, I don't know. It's still grain of salt stuff. I wouldn't be getting your hopes up. If anything, it may be out next year, possibly the year after. I don't know. That's how Rockstar work. They keep their mouths shut for a very long time, and then we'll start getting screenshots is probably what we'll first start getting. Those screenshots you'll look at and go, fuck off, it's not going to look that good. And then you'll play the game and go, fuck, it does look that good.
It was that good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I remember I looked at screenshots of GTA 5 before it released, and I was like, that's a cutscene, that's a render, and nope, sure as shit, that's as good as the game looked. It was amazing. So it's coming. I would say that that's probably the most accurate part of it. It's coming. Whether or not that stuff I just read out is accurate, I don't know.
I can't remember where I read it or heard it. I also heard they were working on something different as well.
Oh, yeah, which they've suggested might be Bully.
Well, no, this actually went as far to say they're trying something completely different, as in they're going for a completely different setting again. New IP. Same deal. They're making sandboxes, but I think it was suggested it was going to be something like medieval themed. Try their hand at that. But
I'm out.
Who knows?
Yeah, I'll just wait and see.
yeah, look,
All right.
that's all we can do.
Exactly. Greg,
Yes.
seeing as though you weren't with us last week, you had some thoughts on a couple of things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I still listen to you
through.
guys, and so as I was doing it, I was like, I would have said this, and I would have said that. But I just picked two. So I had a look at the DualSense controller,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I'd give you my feedback, and I don't trust it.
Oh, you don't trust the microphone?
I know I don't trust the controller at all because it looks like it's going to do one of two things. One,
Okay.
I'm going to press the wrong button, and it's going to put a portal through my lap.
Portal gun, yes.
Or two, it's going to assimilate my house and then spend the rest of the week trying to kill me while taunting me with cake. So,
It does look like a, what is it?
GLaDOS. Looks like something GLaDOS would make. It literally looks like something.
Oh, what's the
But
company
yeah.
called?
Aperture.
Aperture. It does look like an Aperture design device, doesn't it?
Yep.
It even has the blue portal in the photo.
Oh, God. Trust you to think of that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't trust it. And the other one was you were talking about Ghosts of Tsushima, and I too saw this at E3 and was like, oh, this is beautiful. I want to play this game. It looks amazing. So I'm on that hype train. But the waypoint discussion, I thought was really cool. So what I like about this is it sort of harkens back to a simpler time, let's call it that way, where video games didn't have waypoints and you got storytelling by exploring as much as you did from the story itself. And part of the story was wayfinding to sections and stuff like that. And I say that because I love Fallout, and that the original Fallout games were exactly that way. They just sort of gave you a task, and then you had to go about finding out how to do the task. There was no set, go here and do this, or go here and do that. So it triggered some feels in me. So I was like, this could be really good.
It just can't be too big. They can't make it too big.
But I agree with you. It is a double-edged sword, and yes, it's a sword fighting game. So, but yeah, it has the ability to be its ruin as well. It's not done properly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, good stuff, mate. Thanks a lot for that.
That's right. There was a lot more, but I just figured I'd stick with those two.
Good. Yeah, keep your other thoughts to yourself. Don't want to hear the bad ones. Oh, well, you could have said this. This was wrong. That was wrong.
No. There is one I'll save for later. There's just the three of them.
All right. We'll go for later. All right. All right. Well, to carry on with our last points, don't forget, head on over to Twitch and follow Aussie Gamers TV and Snooker Vision. Come and say good day whenever we go live. Both myself and Lucas have been doing that a lot more lately. So come in and say good day. And while you're at it, Grejio XBL over on Instagram.
Yeah, I've been putting some more stuff up. I actually put some stuff up before today.
Yes.
So today, yeah.
I saw that notification pop up. I didn't even know I had Instagram. Look at that.
You do.
Good stuff. All right. Any other things you want to chuck in there, boys, before we close it up?
No, I think I've said enough.
All right. Well, thank you very much to everyone that's listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Don't forget to continue any of the topics that we have discussed on this show over in our Discord channel. While you're at it, hit up our website at www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions down below. That's all from me. And as always, I have been Snoogs.
I have been Lucas.
And I have been Grejio.
See us.
Bye-bye, dude.
Bye-bye. See you when your bum cracks. Yes. Rafe,
See you when your bum cracks.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You haven't heard that one?
Well, that's the end of another show. And if you're still listening to this part of the show, then know this. We love you. Come and join our exclusive Agents of Age group on Discord using the link in the description. Just join the server and say hi, quoting, "May the age be with you," and you will be added as an Agent of Age. Subscribe to this podcast using the links that are in the description for your convenience. Thanks again, we love you lots. See you next time on the official podcast of the Aussie Gamers Experience.